Well, hey, everybody. How y'all doing on this Monday? Oh, I'm beat. I did my some spring cleaning today, like the spring cleaning, and I am beat. Oh, we should, Amelia. That's a good idea. Let's see, who have we covered so far? Chazzle Dazzle, sentenced to life without the possibility of parole. Todd Mullis, jail or prison. I forgot what his sentence was. Life, I think, without possibility of parole. He is on appeal. Ezra, I don't know where I know where she is, but I'll wait. Did we do anybody else? Is that it? I feel like that's it. Let me say hi to y'all. Hi, Sam. Hi, Angry Mimi. Hello, Shmeda. Hello, Cement Shoes. Good to see everybody. Molson Man. Hello. Who else we got in here? Get everybody. Kez Chick. Hi. Amelia Sparkles. Hello. Hello. Max 2002. Hello. So good to see you guys. Glad you guys could make it. I'm glad you guys decided to spend your Monday evening with me talking about Ezra, who does stabby things for no reason. I mean, I do think that she did this in some weird attempt to get Jason Mangles back. But, like, I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm old fashioned. But in my opinion, red rumming somebody is not romantic. Now, removing an ear and sending it, okay, creepy, but yes, I can, but nobody but yourself was hurt. You only hurt you. You didn't like hurt an added human being, right? So, of course, if you really want to get to my heart, you got to there's two things. Well, three. Cherry sours, Twizzlers, and cheeseburgers. That's it. Very simple. Okay. So, we're going to talk or finish up with part 3 of Ryan Prox, who is the lead investigator, his testimony, and there's 4 parts, so we're at the 3rd part. And I think that, remember, then I'm going to do like the, oh yeah, Molson Man, see, Molson Man knows. But see, here's my thing. Not everybody can get to a Publix. So if you can't get to a Publix cheeseburger and cherry sours and licorice or, Twizzlers, those are my favorite. No, we're not going to talk snacks. And let me tell you why we're not going to talk snacks. Because, because you're so sweet. I just love for you to, I like that you relax. I know that you are busy bee modding for another channel. And modding is a lot of work, but we're not going to talk about snacks tonight because I need to not have snacks anymore. Okay. I've been looking ahead at the weather. And, March is tricky in any state, really, but not as much Florida. Florida's pretty predictable. But I went ahead and looked ahead because sometimes you never know. Things change, right? Weather's been kind of wonky lately. and it's going to be nothing but shorts weather. And hi, Heather, whatever. And so I can't have any more snacks. I not only can I not have any more snacks. I'm doing good though. I'm only drinking water still and 1 cup of coffee and 1 5-hour energy. But I've got to get on the treadmill. I have got to stop walking by that thing and giving it a dirty look and say, "Well, remember how we were together for so long? We had such fun together. Not today. Maybe tomorrow." Hey, Alex, good to see you, babe. I have got to get on the treadmill because shorts weather is around the corner. So, enough about me and why I cannot have snacks. So, for a time, the ward will not be a true crime and snacks channel. However, don't you worry, because I'll tell you what else it won't be. I'm not going to talk about my workout. Now, if I get on that treadmill and I fall off, I will tell you about that because I think those are the only times that it's appropriate to talk about your workout is if you fell off the treadmill. That's the only time I ever want to hear about anybody's workout if they fell off because, I'm a monster. So, without further ado, I bring you, yes, and let me just say this. Now, Dr. B, who isn't here, or she might be here and listening, but she's not here chatting. Maybe if she comes in chatting, I'll get her to explain her situation. While Dr. B understands the pure delight that is a Publix grocery store, okay, she also has an issue with Publix, so she won't even go in the parking lot of Publix. So I when she does finally come and see me, um, I can go to the Publix to retrieve these delicious fruit bowls that are clearly prepared by angels in heaven and bring them back to her. However, Dr. B will not be going on the Publix property. I'll let her tell you what I can't remember what her theory is or what it is that she says that they do there, but Dr. B ain't won't go on the Publix property. It has something to do with like when you go in the store. I guess they scan your body or something. I don't know. Scan away. Look, Publix fruit bowls. It's a grocery store, Kez chick. Publix fruit bowls, I'm telling you, okay, these are not snacks because this is healthy stuff. This is fruit. There's nothing in it but fruit. There's no nothing, no like whipped cream or anything, just regular fruit. But you know how when you go to the grocery store and you buy a fruit bowl or right? Okay, it's all cut up. I don't know. I'm going to have to get Dr. B to explain this. Okay, so whenever you go to other grocery stores and you buy bowls of fruit, okay, you always get at least one piece of each kind of fruit that just ain't right. It's either overripe or underripe, or you get that weird grape that's real like that's the little bitty tiny grape, and you shouldn't eat it because it's going to be sour, but you're just like YOLO and you do it anyway. Let me just say this. That never happens at Publix. And this is why my theory is like a full body scan. I'm going to have to get Dr. B to scan to tell you what it's about. She told me, and um I don't care because every piece of fruit in a Publix fruit bowl is uniformly delicious. You never get that one piece of each kind of fruit. So, I don't care if I have to walk on my tongue across hot coals to get into a Publix to get at their fruit bowls. I would do it. They're that good. Look, I don't care what they scan. I mean, maybe they're scanning me to follow me around later for organ harvesting. Good luck. I doubt any of them are any good. My heart might be okay. I mean, I've lived life. It is what it is. So, I don't know what she says that they do. I can't even remember what it is, Max, but Dr. B ain't down with the Publix. And it's fine because once she's had a Publix fruit bowl, she won't care either. She won't care. Shmita, we need to get you down here too. We all need to get together in the Floridas so I can show you all the Florida things, including Publix's. I have not seen Rogue Kitty, so I'm assuming and hoping that she's found her humans again and it was a temporary situation and she's all good. I'll tell you what I did see today when I was coming back from the store. One of those big, huge, they look like storks. They're tall, they're huge. This thing was huge, just chilling in somebody's yard. I like when they get on the roof of the houses because Nestor doesn't like them and it freaks him out that they're up there and he barks at him every time. Just one bark though. So I don't know if he's like greeting them or I don't know what it is. They're the big, I think yeah, maybe it's a heron. I don't know. I'm not a real bird aficionado. So birds kind of freak me out a little bit. I'm not going to lie. I have issues with birds. I don't want to have anything to happen to them. And I recognize their place in the circle of life and all that. And I don't, mess with them, but low key, they freak me out because now that I've watched Jurassic Park a number of times and I see the way the velociraptors like cock their head at you, like they're putting it together, putting you together and they're about to get you. Birds do that shit too. And now I'm not. If you come to my house, I can assure you, you won't be pregnant or have E. coli. I'm not going to impregnate you or give you E. coli. Nobody's ever had a foodborne illness from my kitchen. However, if you do come back pregnant from my house, we need to alert the media because we finna make bank. Hell, I'm got my tubes tied. If you come back from Florida and I'm pregnant, we double need to alert the media. Oh yes, I've seen the movie Birds, and you know what's weird? That never had an effect on the way I feel towards birds, but Jurassic Park did. I love it. But when they started, it wasn't the first Jurassic Park. It was the third one. That when they had new information about velociraptors and the way that they hunt, and then also that's when they started saying that they think that, that some of the dinosaurs evolved into birds. And I'm telling you, ever since then, I ain't been right. Hey, Allie 79. Thank you. Thank you so much. We're an all-purpose channel. We really are. I like to say we because it sounds fancier. Yeah. The Birds that movie never scared me. In fact, low-key, I kind of rooted for the birds, but that's because I'm a monster. But just I've had several instances with birds where they will be perched on the fence and they just stare at you, right? And they don't have eyelids. Okay. That's another thing that freaks me out about birds is they don't have eyelids. I have had a bird poop on me and I was told that that's luck. That's good luck. But they lined up on the fence and they all cocked their heads like the velociraptors in Jurassic Park. And I'm just not, it's just, I can't do it. Yeah, cement shoes. I'm a monster. Listen, I'm never going to tell you guys that, "Oh, I'm just the greatest. I'm so sweet and loving." Hell no. There are times when I root for the bad guy in the movies, sure do. Like 96.5% of the time I do. Yeah, but you can't see them, Heather. Like when I look at a human face, I see their eyes, right? And they have lids and everything. But birds and sharks is like beady, right? And they just freak me out. I would never hurt a bird. I'm not a fan of frogs either. And I told you guys this story. But I don't want anything to happen to frogs or birds. Like I don't. Oh, that's one of my favorite. I did root for them in that one too. I Yes, that they do say that. There is a cardinal that visits the yard, and I don't care what anybody says. I know it's my mom. She comes in and she's very busy, buzzing around I guess flittering around in the backyard, saying hi, checking things out, and then she's got to go because she has other people she's got to see. Sometimes she hangs out long. Hey, anaphylaxis, by the way. They do have they have eyelids, you just can't see them, but it freaks me out the way they look at you, and it is what it is, but I don't wanna do anything to birds. I like birds that way, like, I don't wanna be their friend anything, but, like, I'm not gonna do anything to harm them because they have a place here, and they eat the bugs, and that's why it's important. Okay, now that we've all talked about my weird phobias and issues, shall we get into Ezra's weird phobias and issues? I think we should. All right. It's all set. Here we go. Let me make it just a tiny bit louder.
All right, Mr. DeFore, you may proceed.
Thank you.
About a lot of I remember the night or the day after he cut himself, and I asked Jason if he could help him and stuff because I was so concerned.
Mhm.
That I remember he talked about how his parents and stuff had him exercised as a child and just stuff like that really surprised me. So it's just been kind of I don't know much about him, but I know a few kind of things.
Anna, bless Shmita's heart,
About
she's
him,
only seen
stuff
like
like
3
that.
movies in her whole life.
So
We can't
okay,
talk
so
about
you guys are
movies with
up top here.
Shmita.
What
Bless it.
happens next? Or up in Alex's room. What happens next?
Jason got there.
Okay.
Well, we were talking about how I was remember when he helped you and stuff like that. How did that make you feel? And just kind of talking about it. And then Jason got there and I heard his phone. So I was like, well, Jason's here. So we went downstairs and stuff.
Okay.
And then I was just like, do you want to keep talking? And he said he wanted to talk more. So I'm like, well, we can go to a park or something and talk.
Hey, Heather, whatever. I
And
didn't
so
see you in
Jason
here
was there, I
earlier.
remember
Didn't
that,
want
but I
you to
don't
think I
remember
left you out on the
what the cops
parlors.
look like.
Now, I
Or
wouldn't
anything
mind
like that,
having
but
a
we were
macaw either.
there
Hold on.
and
Ezra, you're so
then I
rude.
talked
It's
to the
not all
officers.
about you. Ugh. I wouldn't mind having a macaw either because they talk. And not a macaw. They talk, yes, but a African gray. When one of my neighbors had an African gray, and it talked. My only concern. Oh, does it? Ooh, Amelia, let me go try it. My only concern about about having a bird that can talk is that it can talk. Not that I think it would do anything. It doesn't do anything for me. Hold on. Maybe, maybe I need to update. Anyway, so because I know that it would repeat things that I say, and can you imagine? It just do nothing but cuss. It'd probably be bad news bears, really. This would be the cussinest bird anybody ever heard. I wouldn't be able to take the bird anywhere because it would have an absolute foul mouth. Oh, well, let's see. I need to update mine. Okay. So, yeah, and they're also snitches. The truth of the matter is that the birds that talk are snitches. They tell stuff. So, I wouldn't mind having a bird, though. And Alice might have an issue. Yes, and it's like I know they're interviewing her at the hospital and that she is, yeah, probably not. And you probably shouldn't even bring your bird. And I probably shouldn't even be allowed around birds that talk in general. Like I shouldn't be able to, uh, like converse with a bird or anything like that because it would probably be bad. But anyway, I know that they have her at the hospital and, yeah, she probably would. Wait, this is the one I want to highlight. Yeah. Anyway, so I know she's at the hospital, and I know, and I didn't know this before, but I learned this last night with everybody else that they have her on the psych floor, and they're trying to, assess her. So I'm sure that she is in a more sedated state giving this interview, and I'm very curious. And she's coming up soon because we have this part tonight, then part 4 on Tuesday. Yeah. And then some other stuff. And it was, we're going to do the forensicing, right? Just the highlight reel, but there's still a lot of forensics. And so that takes us into the weekend, Friday, and we'll start Ezra's testimony. So I'm real curious to see if she's this chill on the stand. I wish I was in a more sedated state right now. Anaphylaxis. All right, let me start playing this because this is a long one. And if I keep, yakety yakking, we're never going to get through it. Okay, here we go.
Said, I feel fine, everybody seems fine and stuff. And just wanted to talk. And they were like, everything looks fine and things. So we went and talked and stuff. And Jason gave me a hug and everything. And then he biked somewhere. I think he biked home.
Okay. So how did Jason know you were at Alex's house?
I don't really know. Maybe, I think he might have asked Max or something at the coffee shop.
Did you tell Max you were heading over to Alex's house?
Yep. I told him I headed over there, get myself back and stuff like that.
Okay, so Jason shows up. Whose phone does he call her? Or how does you said you heard his phone ring?
Yeah.
Whose phone ring?
Jason's phone.
Was he in the house?
I don't know.
Didn't Jason and her have a whole text conversation about this? I believe that they did.
I think so.
Okay. But you heard his phone ring somehow, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. And then you said you went downstairs and talked to him? Did both you and Alex go down?
No, actually, Jason walked upstairs to talk to us, so the door must have been open or something.
Okay. So what was that conversation like?
Not so bad. Like, Jason came upstairs, he's like, is everybody okay and stuff? Because he gets really concerned about Alex because of when he treated him for his, wound and stuff. So he thought when I was talking about, he helped you and stuff, that he thought I was saying, let him help you, but he didn't hear it right. So he came upstairs, he's like, everybody okay and stuff, just want to check in and all that. How's it going?
Okay.
And then we both talked to him for a little bit, and all he seemed was kind of cautious, he thought Alex might be harming himself or something.
But Alex wasn't harming himself?
No.
Okay. Well, that's good.
Yeah.
And so after that, you walk downstairs and see the cops, or where did the cops come into this whole story?
I walked downstairs and I was in my car, just kind of sitting in my car, talking to Jason a little bit and stuff, and the cops were there.
Okay.
Already.
What were you talking to Jason about in the car?
No, he was standing outside of the car. I was telling him that I'm just going to talk about stuff, kind of like my personal things and feelings about the journals I've been writing and things like that.
Okay.
And then he was like, okay. He said I have a lot to talk about, probably, and that it was a good idea to get things out and stuff.
Okay. So then Alex comes down.
Yep. Unnecessary
and all three
details.
Of you sit and talk with the cops.
Yep.
And everything's okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Interesting how she can remember all these little details, but then there's the whole middle part where the unaliving occurred. That's just a mystery.
I
can't remember anything.
In the car, and then saying that we should go to the park in town or one of the parks in town and stuff like that. And then for some reason, I started feeling a little anxious.
Who got in the car with you?
Alex did.
Where did he get in where did he sit?
He was in the passenger seat.
The front passenger seat?
Yeah.
So Alex was in the front passenger seat, you were driving.
Mm-hmm.
And it's your car?
Yep.
I think you told me yesterday, like silver Impala-ish?
Yeah.
With a bunch of writing on it.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, and then, so you're in the car.
Yeah.
And you're starting to drive.
Yeah.
Where'd you end up, mentioned parks?
Yeah, like I wanted to go to either Phoenix Park or Owen Park or something. And then
What other parks would you go to?
I don't really know all the names of the parks here, but
Where are they by the ones that you like to go to?
what?
Like, where are they by the ones that you like to go to?
The river.
Okay.
He was
Phoenix
Matt's.
Park I like because it's right next to the water, stuff like that. So I like those parks a lot.
Okay.
And I just told Jason that I kind of want to be in a public place because I'm still kind of uneasy about things that have happened in the past.
Hold on a minute now. Who's listening? I just kind of told Jason. When did this I just don't get it. There was a conversation that these two had, Jason and Ezra, before this day. And she talked about going and giving his stuff back. Then Jason says, no. This is the modern age, which who even talks like that? You should mail it. And she says, no, closure. So then they run into each other accidentally on purpose at the races where everybody goes and everybody knows your name. And if you're Ezra, they know your phone number if they go in the boys' bathroom. Which is weird for her to say too. You're a grown up. It's the men's room. Anyhow. And now they're having another conversation, this time at Alex's house, where this is where the tender place, the suggestion to go to a tender place for the delicate conversation comes in. Yes. Excuse me. My bad. Tender venue. Because it's a delicate conversation. Not to be confused with an emotional one. Crazy pants.
Between me and Alex and stuff.
What do you say, things that have happened in the past? What do you mean?
In the past, I've felt kind of uneasy about certain things he's talked about and stuff like that.
Like, what has he talked about?
Just kind of his way of thinking.
Okay.
And stuff. Because he likes to talk about philosophy a lot.
Okay.
I don't really agree with the philosophies that much because they're just they're very negative philosophies. It's kind of like take as much as you want kind of philosophies and stuff like that.
Okay. But he's never harmed you physically?
No.
Like never punched you, kicked you, hit you, or done anything physical along those lines towards you?
He's only kind of held me once when I was uncomfortable.
What do you mean, how held you?
Kind of like this, kind of like if this was his arm, kind of like right here.
Okay. Why was he doing that? Why was he putting his arm around your neck from behind? Is that the best way to describe it? So you're standing up and he's behind you and his arm is around.
It was kind of during a time of when things were like getting like intimate.
Okay, so it was during a sexual act.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it made me quite uncomfortable. I didn't really like to feel that way because I said that I was too sensitive and stuff, but he kind of got upset a few times because he didn't get to it's very crude sounding, but he didn't get to finish or something.
Okay.
And he kind of, a couple times that has happened and I just went along with it mostly.
Okay. But other than him putting his arm around you during intimate times, there was never any physical harm done to you?
No.
He's never punched you, like I said, or kicked you, slapped you, bit you?
Well, he has bit me once, but that was it.
That was during the sexual acts as well?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was too hard.
Okay. So other than during sexual acts,
yeah,
there was nothing that
again
constitutes like a physical fight or anything.
We go back
along those
to
lines.
no.
the philosophy according to Jen
you get in
Liu,
the car
safety
and you
word.
start driving.
Yeah.
Okay, Walk me through which direction you drove.
I remember driving. You drive you back up, and then you drive.
Oh, are you going
up
to
the
teach us how to
driveway
drive
back up
now?
Because that way is where trucks come from.
Do we put it in reverse?
The-
Is that what the R
I
means?
think it's the right.
Okay.
That's where trucks come from.
Trucks. I think it's the plumbing store.
I think so.
Okay.
And then, so I drove out of the driveway. And I remember driving a little bit down the road, but then things started to get really, I started feeling more and more anxious being alone. And then it starts getting really fuzzy from there.
Well, let's try to
Oh,
talk through
how
that fuzzy.
convenient.
Okay. So you're driving towards, I believe it's going to be the west. Okay, so you're driving west
Molson.
towards, and you come up to a stop sign.
Yeah.
Where did you go from there?
From the stop sign, I kind of remember, I think I was going to make a loop around because I think it's a one-way.
You mean a
I don't
U-turn?
know.
Well, if you go right, you end up going up a hill.
Yeah.
Did you go up a hill?
I don't really remember any hill.
Okay, if you go left, it kind of takes you down towards the river, past the front of the hospital.
I don't really remember going up a hill.
Hey, Lily.
I just remember turning and then driving.
Did you go over by Half Moon?
I think so. I don't really remember, where I was going.
What?
Okay. So then you're driving, and so now we don't know where you're going.
Yeah.
Driving, just not going
What happened
anywhere,
there?
maybe
I just
making
started
a
feeling
loop
really,
around.
really anxious for some reason.
Like, anxious and uncomfortable, you're saying?
Yeah.
How come you just didn't stop and park and get out?
Yeah.
I thought I would just kind of work through it because sometimes I can work through, when I start feeling anxious, and I can just breathe and try to work through it.
Oh, exposure
Okay.
therapy.
But
Gotcha.
it just started getting worse and worse and worse.
Okay. What were you guys talking about during this drive?
I
Mm.
was mostly talking about kind of my feelings in the journals I've been writing. Asking questions
Oh.
also about their feelings and stuff like that.
You said their feelings?
Alex's feelings.
So, okay, so you're driving, talking about Alex's feelings and your feelings and about your journal entries.
Yeah,
Okay.
because they're really important to me.
Okay. So then so as you're driving,
Hey, Nonstop
when do
Mom.
you stop? In park? Do you stop and park someplace?
I don't know.
I think I got out. I'm not sure
What do
because
you-
when I
what
get
do you mean?
anxious, I think I got out of the car.
Okay.
And whenever I get anxious, I don't like to drive or anything. So, I feel like I remember just sitting there and
Oh,
just being
boy.
anxious and being I don't really want to drive. Usually I try to have my friends drive me when I'm anxious. I've had my ex-boyfriend kind of drove me around for almost a whole year because I couldn't do it.
Okay.
Which ex-boyfriend? Jason? Because
So
he says
then-
he didn't.
You think you park and you get out and sit down?
Yeah.
Does Alex come sit by you?
I don't think so.
Where was Alex at this time?
He wanted to help me out with driving and stuff.
Okay. So I'm kind of confused.
Yeah,
there.
we're all confused, detective.
Trying to breathe through anxiety.
Yeah. So is Alex driving you around at this time?
When I got out of the car, I got in the car
Mhm.
and then I got out of the car and then I got back in.
I
was
got
still
in the
feeling
car,
really,
I
really
got out of
anxious
the
and just
car, I
wanted to
got
talk.
in the car, I
Okay.
got out of the
So,
car. What
I
are
asked-
you doing?
I don't really want to drive anymore. Can you drive me? So I asked him about that. So I remember being I know that you know how to drive and stuff. So I had him get in the
I mean, I know
the passenger.
everybody
and I had him
is
get in the
different,
driver's
but
seat
when
so I
I'm
could, give me
anxious,
some talk and go
my
somewhere.
senses are
But I don't think I should
highly
drive.
acute.
Sometimes
Like
I really
everything is
Can't drive.
Okay.
That's how I went
everything
off the
is
highway
louder.
once.
You know what I
All right,
mean?
so
Like
then
it's
he's
not
now driving you.
Yes.
Where are you guys headed towards now?
I don't really know.
the frog park.
I
No,
didn't really. I started getting that. For some reason, my anxiety just kept getting worse and worse and worse and worse.
oh, for Pete's
And
sake,
then I just
nonstop, mom.
started I don't know, I got really like tired and anxious. And I just remember just kind of being in the car for a little while. Then it just tries to go blank for me.
Okay. And then
Yes,
what happens?
Shmita, like that.
I
Exactly.
remember walking.
Okay, tell me about that.
I remember walking and trying to look for because I was looking for a car. Looking to see if there's any cars at any houses or anything.
Okay.
What?
And then I walked up to the old man's house, and I remember sitting down in the chair and stuff.
Oh,
And I got here.
it's
Okay.
just the
So
stabby
in
parts
our
that are
reports,
missing.
There's like,
Got
it
it.
said like something was carved in your arm.
Yeah.
What happened there?
Yeah. What did happen,
I
Ezra?
remember like being really nervous or something,
Okay.
and Alex kept using pronouns that weren't my pronouns.
What do you mean?
I used to go by more neutral pronouns in high school and more masculine pronouns. I talked a little briefly about it, how I was kind of going through identity things.
Okay.
But now I go by her pronouns because that's how I feel comfortable.
Okay.
But he kept using the he pronouns because he preferred it.
Okay.
And he used to call me like boy a lot and stuff like that. And I was just kind of like, I don't really identify that way anymore.
Okay.
Because like I identify kind of feminine and stuff because in the past I just kind of was more masculine for kind of like self-protection.
Okay. And so this injury, so what happened? How did this get, the way I described it is like on one of your arms.
Yeah.
Something happened.
Mm-hmm.
What happened there?
I remember like that's when my anxiety got really bad is because I remember just kind of being really uncomfortable because I don't like it when people grab me.
Okay.
And I remember just kind of like being grabbed and then it just kind of like the anxiety went crazy, like completely through the roof. The anxiety went up.
Okay.
And then sometimes when that happens, it's just like everything goes black for a while.
All right. So where were you when you were grabbed?
I was in the car.
Okay. And how did he grab you?
Grabbed me by the arm, like right there.
Okay. Where was he?
He was.
She had to get the yellow cup, Matt.
The passenger. I don't know if I think we probably were parked.
Okay.
I think it was before we started driving again.
Okay.
And it was just because I remember it happening, like being grabbed and just feeling hurt and anxious, and then it just starts getting really, really dark and fuzzy for me. Just feeling so anxious.
Okay. And so how does your arm get cut up?
Alex, like, he grabbed it, and then he kept telling me about.
Now, you know I can't highlight that, Allie, but
how
you.
frustrating it is. And then
It's a good one.
Threatened me.
What do you mean he threatened you?
He didn't say he was gonna do something, but he grabbed me and started doing something.
What do you mean he started doing something?
He started like carving something in my arm.
Where is this on your arm?
This arm.
Can I see it by chance?
Yeah.
If you can pull your sleeve up far enough. Oh, is it all bandaged up or no?
Yeah, but I can move it.
Well, if it's bandaged up.
It's on this part of my arm.
Okay.
And
Look at how helpful she is.
How deep is it?
I'll take
It's
the Band-Aid off
just
if
a
you
little-
want me
it's not
to.
too deep, but it's like etched into my arm.
Okay.
And it just made me really anxious and it hurt really bad.
Okay.
And then after that, I just remember feeling like I was moving, like I was dizzy and moving. And then I remember the car was moving again. And I was just panicked.
What do you mean you panicked?
Like, I just felt panicked. Like, kind of like a small animal, just kind of scared.
Okay.
And then it's just kind of like everything went away.
Okay.
Got dark and scary.
What did he use to carve that on you?
I think he grabbed what was in my middle console.
What was that?
I have, it's called Tiger Claws. It's a protectant thing. I keep a couple of like protection, self-defense protection things in my middle console of my car.
Tiger claw. Like, what exactly is a tiger? I've never heard of that, so.
It's,
All I can
you
hear
squeeze
is
it
the
and then
beginning
little, like, claws
of
come out.
tiger
First, like when you're running,
style.
it has a wristband on it,
Okay,
and it's just a self-protection kind of like thing.
so if I'm picturing this, it's almost like a brass knuckle type
Yeah.
thing that you squeeze and then multiple claws come
I
out.
love the
Yeah.
Bee Gees.
Okay,
One of them sticks out a little farther than the other, but it's for like my mom always has me carry a bunch of self-protection items and stuff in my car.
okay. If it wasn't a tiger claw, what might it have been?
I always keep one of my dad's like hunting knives in there too, just in case, because I either have like a tent in my trunk and stuff like that. So I always keep like my tiger claws. I always try to make sure one of my dad's hunting knives are in there, just in case I ever need it, or just in case I ever need to like cut some rope or anything.
That makes
Oh,
total sense. And what kind of knife
yeah, that
was
makes
this?
literally no
Just kind of
sense.
your typical hunting knife. I
Like-
don't know if you're familiar.
Fixed blade, so basically like a fillet knife type of, or is it one that folds?
It's like a utility one. So like you fold it up so it can be multi-purpose, so it closes and it opens.
Okay.
So that's
So
not a
is it like
hunting
a
knife.
utility
Is
knife
it?
where it has like pliers and
No.
it's just a straight knife? So
Yeah.
for me, I refer to those as a buck knife,
Yeah.
where it's probably about 4 to 5 inches long, or the one that I'm used to is like 4 to 5 inches long. Then the blade folds open and then it locks in.
Yeah.
And then the blade's anywhere from 3 to 5 inches long.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have to like push on the back of it a little button to release the blade.
Yeah.
Is that kind of what you're describing?
My dad always gets us kids like a couple of them, or he
It's
always
a
has
yes or a
couple
no
of 'em 'cause
question,
We're all hunters.
Ezra.
Something like that.
And what did this knife look like?
I think it was black mostly,
Okay. And how big a blade on it?
not too big. Maybe
Not
like
too
that big.
How big? So you're holding your fingers
It's about that big.
about 3 inches?
Yeah.
3.5, 4 inches.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how big a blade it had on it?
Yeah, it wasn't very big though.
Okay, sharp.
Mm-hmm.
Did you sharpen it?
No.
Did your dad sharpen it beforehand?
I don't think so.
Okay,
I don't really know how to sharpen.
fair enough. So
So,
what else did you have in your
you-
car for protection?
Lord,
Um,
what's the
I
tent for,
always,
Ezra?
in the back of my car, well, not really for protection, but I have a safety kit in there,
Okay, what's in a safety kit?
like a bottle of water and
Oh,
like
sweet Jesus.
fire starting stuff,
Fire
and
starting stuff.
bandages and stuff like that.
Okay.
And I always have a tent in my car. And
Do you know how to
typical
use
kinda
any of the stuff in
stuff.
your safety kit?
In my glove box, I kind of have like my work gloves because I work with my dad and stuff sometimes.
What does your dad do that you work with him?
He cuts trees down.
Okay, I think you told me that before. So
All right, I'll be right back.
that's what's in your
Molson Man
car
and
for
Schmidt
safety
are in
protection.
charge.
What did Alex use?
Sam, bring the
I
ruckus.
think he used the hunting one because I seen him looking around at my console.
Okay.
Ouch.
You okay?
Yeah.
I heard something pop.
Mm-hmm. My shoulder's really sore.
Okay. Why is your shoulder sore?
I don't know. I've been sleeping funny, I think.
Okay. How long has it been sore?
Since like yesterday, it's been kind of sore. This one's a little more sore though for some reason.
Okay. So you think he now used the hunting knife?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. And where was he seated when he was, as you're putting a carving your arm up?
Well, because I was in the passenger seat, it's my left side. That would have been because he's in this seat and I'm in this seat. So he grabbed this arm because it was the closest one.
Okay. So he grabbed this arm and held it. So if you're sitting in the passenger seat, or if I'm sitting in there, he grabs it like this and just holds it. So basically your arm is just straight.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't bend your shoulder or your arm back at all?
Only slightly, but I pulled, and that's why there's this long line down.
Okay, can we see that by chance?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just kind of curious on how it looks, because...
That's why right here there's a
Oh,
scratch.
yeah, I see the scratch.
And then this one.
Oh, yeah. So he wrote it, just so I have this right, it's on your left arm, on top of the forearm,
Yeah.
and he wrote it with the B is closest to your elbow joint, then the O, and then the Y with some scratches. Okay.
There's scratches down here too.
And some other scratches there as well.
There's a lot more scratches in my leg.
Okay. You don't need to show us those, but we can talk about those. So you have scratches on your leg, you're saying?
Yeah, they just hurt really bad.
Like, what are those from?
I don't know. I just remember looking down when I was at the Mr. Sipple's house,
Okay.
and that I started getting really scared because I seen that there's blood right there, and that there's blood on this leg, but there's more blood right here.
Okay. And so, which hand was Alex holding the knife in?
I don't remember.
Which hand was he holding your arm with?
I can't remember which hand. It's just kind of like I can't even see his face or anything.
Do you know if he's right-handed or left-handed?
I don't.
Okay. Are you right-handed?
Yeah.
You're right-handed? So I thought I asked you that before, but
I'm right-handed for when I write, but when I go to play sports and everything, I'm my left hand is my
dominant hand.
That's what I use for like sports or like other things.
Hunting and fishing, or hunting you shoot left-handed, but your dominant hand's right-handed.
This is the hand I mostly write with, but sometimes I even eat with this hand.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like my strong hand.
So earlier you were mentioning your journaling.
Yeah.
And you do that through Google Docs, I believe, right? What is your Gmail account?
It's a long one.
All right.
I made it a long time ago. It's the
Okay.
Adventures of Timothy J at gmail.com. Timothy was a character I made up a long time ago to write long stories about.
Okay, I was wondering how you came up with Timothy J.
It's just kind of like a character. I used to write a lot of fiction.
Okay. So, and your Google Docs are all tied to that?
Yep.
Okay.
Do you need the password?
Do you have a password on it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what's the password?
Oh gosh, now I have to think. Because I don't know how you guys have to access.
I don't either. Well, you know what, we'll deal with that when you get out. We can maybe sit down and go over your diary stuff. So, at some point he carves boy into your arm.
Mm-hmm.
And then when did that take place?
That took place when we got in the car to go drive somewhere.
Okay. And then, so then you don't know where you go.
No,
Who's driving at this point?
Alex was driving.
Okay.
And I just started feeling really, 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 really anxious. And sometimes when I'm really anxious, everything goes dark for a long time.
Okay.
And I've had an accident because of that in my car.
Okay. And where was the knife now after he carved that into your arm?
I think he put it in his pocket, or he kept it, or he had it by him. But I don't remember.
Why?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
Okay. So then you go wherever, and then you come out and go to Mr. Sipple's house, or Don, as I've met him. He tells me his name's Don. And he described you as covered in mud.
Mm-hmm.
How did you get covered in mud?
I don't know.
And where were your shoes?
I was wearing my boots.
What kind of, well, yeah, let's talk about that. What were you wearing?
They're brown boots. They're like work boots, but they have, instead of laces, I had to use paracord.
Okay.
Because of one of my jobs.
Okay. So you're wearing brown boots. What else were you wearing?
I don't know if I was wearing socks or... No, I wasn't wearing socks because I had my leggings on that day.
Okay, so you're wearing brown boots, leggings.
They're I think they're more called stockings.
Okay, stockings.
And then I was wearing my pants that I made myself. And then I can't remember what shirt I was wearing.
Mm-hmm.
But I was wearing a couple shirts. I was wearing, I think, 3 shirts and 4 shirts
Okay.
and a sweater because I don't really like to not wear that much clothes.
Yeah. And then, do you remember what Alex was wearing?
I think he was wearing his black coat
Okay.
and he just wears kind of raggedy like tennis shoes and just normal pants.
Okay. Was he wearing anything else that you can think of?
I think, no,
Okay.
just kind of like khakis.
Khaki pants?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm trying to think when I spoke to him. Scarf? A scarf? Did he have a scarf?
He didn't wear a scarf.
No. Okay. Did you have a scarf on that day?
I did.
What did your scarf look like?
My scarf is, it's kind of like yellow and blue and white. And
Did she just say
Red.
that she wasn't wearing
So
very many
multicolored
clothes? She
Were you
had on
wearing that,
like
or was it just in your
87
car?
layers.
I was wearing it around me because I was kind of cold.
Okay. And correct me if I'm wrong, when you went to Don's house, you didn't have that on you anymore?
No.
No? Okay. And
Well,
obviously the reason I'm asking you this is I wasn't there,
Mhm.
and I just want to make sure I have an idea of
Yeah.
what you're wearing and what
Angry
he was
Mimi.
wearing.
Mhm.
So you get to Don's house, and, Don described that you had some cuts on you.
Mhm.
You also had some blood around your face. How did that happen?
My mouth. I don't know how this happened, but it hurts.
So a little cut. Is it a cut of some sort?
There's a couple of cuts right here. They're kind of healed right now because I've been putting stuff on it.
Okay.
They're kind of
Um,
healed right now. It's literally been
yeah,
48
I had
hours.
This,
Oh,
my head hurt
boy.
really bad right here for some reason. I don't know why.
When you say right here, where's right here?
In the back of my head, in this area.
Okay.
And
So on the back of your head, below the ponytail, you got a ponytail, and so basically right in the back of your head, lower part of the back of your skull.
Yeah.
Your head hurt. Okay.
and then I remember getting to the hospital and they had to take a bunch of pictures and stuff.
Okay. Who took the pictures?
The same nurse.
Okay. Do you remember what she took pictures of?
She took pictures of my face and my neck because there was marks on my neck. And then she took pictures of my hands and stuff. And then she had to take pictures of this area.
Oh, and when you say this area, it's where your cuts are down by your thighs and legs and
And like the vaginal
the
region.
vaginal region. Okay.
I just remember throwing up a lot. Not last night, but the day I got to the hospital, I just remember throwing up a lot.
Why were you throwing up?
I don't know. I just kept throwing up.
Did you end up taking
Oh dear,
something?
did you hear that alert?
Or drinking something?
They gave me something from nausea.
Okay. So you get here, you're puking, they do a Sanka. Do you remember if they scraped your nails and all that?
They did that.
They scraped your nails, and they did photographs.
Mhm.
Did they take any hair, like out of your head or that? Do you remember?
No.
Okay. And then it went to you getting brought up here.
Yeah, down in the emergency room, cuz.
So
Check.
part of the reason I'm here is you're saying that you're possibly sexually assaulted by somebody. When did that take place?
I think maybe that's what happened.
Okay, so you don't know that happened.
No,
Okay.
but I think it might have because of where the cuts are and stuff. Because I don't know why somebody would cut my pants or anything.
I wonder if they found the
And
yellow
when
cup.
you say cut, and I haven't seen your pants, like were there multiple cuts, like a few cuts?
There's cuts on my pants right here. There's a lot of cuts on my pants, and then there's some right here. It was cut.
All right.
This part was like
Okay, so which part was cut out or cut up?
this area of my
Okay, so your right leg or left leg, do you remember?
This is both legs have it.
Okay, so both legs, the inner thighs were cut. Was it less one cut or multiple cuts?
The right leg was cut, one big cut, and then my tights were
Owie.
ripped quite a bit, and then there was multiple cuts on this, on the outer side of my right leg, and then on this leg it was down here.
Down by when you say down here, is it more by your knee?
Yeah, it was lower than this one.
Okay, so right leg was up by your upper inner thigh, was one big one with your tights ripped.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other one was on the outside of your leg, there was multiple cuts
Yeah.
through the pants. Did they get down to the skin and everything too? Okay, and then on your left leg, there was just a cut in your pants on your knee.
Yeah. Then my sweater was ripped and cut, and then I have a small cut right here on my stomach.
Okay.
Wow,
your
you
sweater
can
was cut
remember
and
all
you
of
got a cut
this,
on your
huh?
stomach. Were you bleeding from those at all?
Mm-hmm.
Like a lot? Like
I was,
gushing? Like
no, it was mostly this area that was bleeding more. And
also your right leg inner
yeah,
thigh area was bleeding?
Yep.
But it wasn't a steady running. It was more...
no, it was just smaller, kind of, not smaller, like it was small bleeding. I don't know how to describe it. Not a lot of gushing blood, but
Okay.
it was bleeding.
It was bleeding, but it wasn't something where...
I haven't had to have stitches.
There we go. Perfect. So you didn't have to have stitches. It wasn't deep enough cut that you need stitches, but it was, you cut through the skin enough to bleed. Okay.
Guess check.
Excuse me for 1 second. I apologize.
Yeah, that needed to be examined by his friend immediately,
So,
or his parents'
We
friends.
obviously went out and
At dinner.
found Don.
Yeah.
Okay. And we started with Don. And it was myself and a couple other detectives, and then we ended up getting a hold of Dunn County and Brett here. And we said, all right, where could she have come from? Because you described to me that yesterday that you walked straight down a road
Yeah.
and there was mud on you, and
Where? Yes, Dr. B,
not
we
too
need
far
a
from Don's house,
spreadsheet.
we found a mud road.
Okay.
Okay. What do you think we found at the end of the mud road?
I don't know.
Here it is, you guys.
Well, we followed the mud road and we saw your footprints.
Okay.
Okay. Why would we find your footprints down the mud road? Okay, what do you think we found at the end of the road, Ezra?
Was it
Mm.
me? I mean, my stuff.
What stuff?
Was it my car or anything?
We did find your car.
Lord.
What happened back there, Ezra?
In my car?
Mm-hmm.
I don't fully remember.
Well, what do you remember?
I remember being really scared
Okay.
and in a lot of pain.
Okay. You know, people make mistakes, Ezra.
Oh,
Yeah.
here we go.
The best way for us to help you is try to figure out what happened in that car. Okay.
Did you find my yellow cup?
And I think you know what happened. I really do. I think it did. And I think you know something happened in there. Right?
Yeah.
I know. And I think something happened to Alex, and you know that too. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. What happened to Alex?
I got him off of me.
Okay. Walk me through this. What happened?
Probably going to be a trigger warning here.
Well, we kind of need to know what happened, okay? We need to know the truth. We need to know what truly happened, okay? Okay, I know it's going to be painful, and I know it's going to be hard, but we got to know, okay? We got to know. So can you please tell us? All right, walk me through, Ezra, what happened. With the truth, please.
When I got to the road, Alex wanted to keep going
Heather.
down the road to have some privacy to talk. And I said, well, there's a lot of nature. I'm sure it'll be fine to talk because I really like to talk in nature.
Mm-hmm.
And when he grabbed me again and he put me in the back of the car. And he seemed really upset about stuff. And he kept grabbing me, and I didn't know what to do, and he started cutting my pants.
Who did?
Alex.
Okay.
He started cutting my pants open and stuff, and I didn't know what to do, and it was really scary. And then he started cutting my shirt off of me.
I don't think
didn't know what
nature
to
was
do,
the
and
tender
I went to
venue
go
Jason had in
make him
mind.
stop, because he had this arm, and I cut my hand because I kept trying to grab him. And so he kept grabbing me and stuff, and then I finally got free, and I finally got the knife away from him, and then he kept trying to grab me in the back of the car. So I just started to defend myself as fast as I could, and then it's like, it got dark, and then and then I woke up, and he just kept trying to attack me, and I didn't know what to do.
Okay.
And it was the scariest thing I've ever experienced in my life, because I've never ever fought back in my whole life.
Okay. So you said you had the knife. Where were you cutting him?
I just was going anywhere and everywhere I could,
Okay.
just to get him off of me and get away from me.
And did the knife actually make contact with him?
Yes.
Okay.
And even then, he just kept grabbing me and grabbing me and grabbing me.
Okay. So he kept grabbing you after you were stabbing him?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then what happened?
And then after that, she left the car, and he was laying there, and I didn't know what to do.
Okay. So then what happened?
And then so I just waited, and I was confused and scared, and I was just like coming in and out of it. Like it would get dark for a little bit, and then I'd come out of it, and I'd panic again and hyperventilate, and then it'd get dark again.
Okay.
And then I just started running.
Okay. Now, where did this stabbing take place?
It took place in my car and then outside when I was on the ground.
Okay. All of it. Do you know how you know where your car
Hey,
was?
Lachette Noir.
Pardon?
Yeah.
Okay, so who was driving at that point?
I didn't drive my car anymore after that.
No, who drove
Good to
you?
see you.
So now that we're getting to Ezra talking about what happened there, you were saying that your car, where we found it, how did it get to that dirt road?
Alex drove it up the hill a little bit, and then it started getting stuck. So
Okay.
I was like, I can fix it. I can get it out of here. I just need to drive up the road a little farther where it looks like the frost hasn't given out yet.
Okay.
And so I drove up the road a little bit, and then I got out of the car to try to see what was going on, because it was stuck again, and I was like, I don't know what to do about this car being stuck.
Okay.
So I was looking in my car for like maybe a board or anything to put underneath the tire to get traction.
Okay.
And then that's when everything started happening.
Okay.
Hey, Mo.
And walk me through again what happened there, Ezra.
After I was in the back of my car looking for stuff.
Okay, so the car gets stuck. Do you remember what's around you?
No. I just remember there's a lot of trees.
Okay. So you're in the back seat,
Mm-hmm.
or you're looking for something, you said, right? What happens then?
Alex came after me.
Okay, walk me through that, please.
Mm.
Like how it happened.
I was in the back seat and I was looking for stuff, and I was moving things out of the way, trying to find anything to get my car out of there, because I was already anxious as it is. And then Alex came up from behind me, and then he just started grabbing me.
Okay, how was he grabbing you?
He grabbed me by the throat,
Okay.
and then he pushed me down
When you say he pushed you down, where did he push you down?
in the car.
Okay.
And then he was on top of me and started cutting things. And it was really scary.
Okay, so he was cutting things on you. What was he cutting again?
My pants.
Okay, and then what happened?
He cut my pants, and I tried to grab it, and I hurt my hand.
Okay, let's see the hand, please. Okay.
And then I was moving a lot, and he cut my leg right here.
Okay. And then what happened?
And then after that, I started trying to wrestle him and fight him off of me and kick him, do whatever I could. But I got the knife, and then I just started,
How did you get the knife from him?
I grabbed it. I grabbed it from him, and I pulled.
What did you grab? The blade or?
I grabbed the blade the one time, and that hurt a lot.
Okay.
So I tried grabbing the base of it,
Okay.
and then I don't know.
Okay. So once you have the knife in your hand, what happens?
He kept grabbing me,
Okay. How was he grabbing you?
grabbing me by the arm, and then by like just anywhere. He just kept grabbing me.
Okay.
So I was freaking out. I was just freaking out.
So he's grabbing you, and which hand do you have the knife in?
This one.
Okay. And how are you holding it?
I was just holding it like this.
Okay. So right now you have your fist pointing towards me. Was the blade pointed up or blade pointed down? Do you remember?
I think it was pointed down.
Okay. So then, do you remember?
Maybe.
Do you remember where you ended up stabbing him?
I don't really fully know because it was just anything and everywhere.
Okay. Anything and everywhere is where you're stabbing him. So was he on top of you? So you have it here. Do you know if you stabbed him in the back or any place?
I don't know if I had it facing up or down,
Okay.
but I just
Okay.
everywhere.
Did all the stabbing take place in the car or outside?
More of it took place outside the car because he went on top of me again.
He went on top of you again outside. So most of the stabbing you said took place outside.
It was inside the car, a lot took place, and then not that much else took place outside of the car after he was on top of me again.
Okay, so you kind of lost me on that part, Ezra. So some of the stabbing took place in the car.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of it took place outside.
Not a lot. A lot of it took place in the car, and then outside the car, he came after me again.
Okay.
So when that happened in the car, he was on top of you? How did you end up getting out?
Just kicking and stabbing anywhere and everywhere. Just kicking as hard as I could.
Okay. So then once you get out, he still comes at you?
Mm-hmm.
What happens then?
He's tried grabbing me again, and I just did it again. I just started anything and everywhere, like my dad told me to do.
Okay. So your dad told you if someone attacks you, you stab and slice and cut and do whatever you need to do.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then what happened after you got outside?
And then he started talking and stuff, and I started freaking out, and I couldn't breathe. And then it just kind of goes dark for a little while because I can't breathe or anything. And then I wake up, and he's laying there on like his coat or something, and I couldn't breathe again because I didn't know what was happening.
When you say he's laying there on his coat, what do you mean?
He was laying on his coat on the ground or something.
Okay.
And I looked over and I didn't know what was going on or what happened or what was happening. And I just started breathing really fast again. And then it got dark for me again. And then after I woke up again, I got really scared and confused. And I just started running.
When you woke up again this time, where was he laying?
He was just still laying there.
Laying, is he outside the car, in the car?
Outside the car.
Okay.
And I didn't know what to do or what I was supposed to do. So I just started running as fast as I can. And then it just started getting dark again for me and confusing and scary. And I don't know, I peed my pants and I didn't even know. It was so scary.
Okay. Well, we found him. He wasn't outside the car. He was inside the car. How did he get back inside the car, Ezra?
I don't know. When I left and I ran, he was outside.
Okay. When he was stabbed, where do you think you stabbed him?
I think I stabbed him in the legs and in the head and in the chest and stuff.
Okay. Did you cut his throat, slice across his throat at all?
I think so. I think I went to stab him and it stabbed him in the neck and stuff like that. And then I think I got him in the chest a few times and stuff, but I think I got him in the leg too.
Okay. What about so just so we can walk through this.
Mm-hmm.
So you think you stabbed him in the back?
I think so.
Okay, and where else again?
In the legs.
Where in the legs? So
I think I stabbed him in the right leg.
right leg?
or the I don't know.
Okay,
I think
so
it might have been the right leg.
the upper part of the leg, lower part, are we talking in the privates? Are we talking?
Part of the leg.
So,
Might have been in the private though.
okay, it might have been, how about stomach?
I think so.
Okay, we'll just go, I think this might be the easiest. We'll start at at his feet. Did you stab him in his feet?
No.
How about in between his feet and his knee?
No.
Okay, so on either leg. Okay, then we'll go from his knee to his hips.
I think
To include his pelvic triangle, or that's what we refer to, or his genitalia area.
I stabbed him in the genitalia area by the leg and then in the stomach too.
Okay, when did that happen?
When he was on top of me in the car.
Okay, so you stabbed, how many times do you think you stabbed him in the legs and genitalia and stomach?
I think once.
Once
Twice.
each, or once total, or
I think I stabbed him twice in this area.
which, you keep,
The genital area
Okay,
and the
and-
stomach.
okay, so you think you stabbed him twice in the penis and testicle area and the stomach area, so that area
Mm-hmm.
is twice total. Okay, so now we'll get from the stomach to the chest. Basically, let's go up to his like nipple line.
Mm-hmm.
What about stabbing him there?
I think I got him in the stomach once.
Okay, how about in the chest, like where his heart, lungs, and rib cage are?
I think I stabbed him in the chest.
Okay, so let's go up to the neck.
I think I stabbed him in the neck a couple times.
Okay, and did you end up slicing it? Do you know, like, or it sounds bad to say it that way, but like cutting across it at all?
I think I cut across it because I came down really hard trying to get the face away and stuff.
Okay,
So I think it might have sliced bad or something. I remember just seeing a lot of blood and being scared and confused as what to do.
okay. So there, and then we'll go to the face. Did you do anything to his face?
I think I stabbed him in the head.
In the head? Do you know where in the head?
I think the left side.
The left side of his head?
Probably the right side because it was in my right hand.
Okay. How about the back of the head?
No,
Okay, how about to his back?
I think so. I think not the back, but I think by the ribs.
Okay. And this all happened while he was on top of you?
Mm-hmm. And when he was on top of me, and I just needed to get him away and off of me, so I was hurting.
Okay. But all of this took place where your car got stuck.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, none of this took place at any parks. None of this took place in the city of Eau Claire, in the county of Eau Claire. Everything took place in Dunn County
Mm-hmm.
on that dirt road up over where you got stuck.
That's where I fought really hard.
Okay. And so when you left, you thought he was laying outside or outside.
Mhm.
Okay. Do you remember when you stabbed him in the throat?
No, I don't. I just remember it happening. I don't remember the time or when.
You don't know. Do you remember which order the stabbing took place?
No, just a bunch.
A bunch?
Stuff.
Oh, what side of the car were you guys on? Do you remember?
The driver's side of the car.
Okay. So everything took place on the driver's side? Okay. Did you ever try to move his body into the car?
No, I didn't want to touch him.
Okay. There was a scarf around his neck. How did that get there?
I didn't use my scarf or anything. I just ran. I left because I woke up and I looked over and he was on the ground and I just started running.
Okay.
When you started, let me back up. When you said that he initially had, I think you had said started attacking you in the backseat, was he saying anything?
Not really, no.
Okay. Do you remember any conversation or anything as far as that goes? If he was directing it towards something, I mean, I'm trying to understand what he was possibly doing. I mean, was he trying to like just physically assault you or something sexual at that point in time?
I think it was physical, but I didn't know.
Do you know what led to that?
Just talking and talking.
Okay. So was everything up to that point that you were in the back seat and he started attacking you? Was it just were you guys having generalized conversation at that point in time? Yeah. Okay. Was this all the while of trying to figure out how to get the car out too? Okay. So maybe you had mentioned this, I missed it. Can you kind of describe to me, when you were in the back seat prior to him attacking you, so how were you positioned?
I was facing down, moving things out of the car to look in my seats and stuff, and then...
Kind of like crawling around?
Yeah.
Okay. So this started in the car, then ended up outside of it. And when you ran, was he moving? Was he laying on the ground at that point in time?
Was he moving or anything?
So I think the point that my partner's trying to get at here is when we found him, he was half in the car and half out. How would he get like that if he wasn't?
I didn't check to see if he was, I thought he was dead or something when I seen him on the ground, so that's why I started running and I was scared what was going on, but he wasn't moving or talking or anything when I seen him.
Was anyone else there with you too?
Did you see anybody else around?
No.
So backing up to driving out there, so who drove you guys out there?
Alex was driving up the hill.
But who drove to that area first?
Alex was driving for the most part.
Okay. And then you drove there, and Alex drove up the hill, then you got in the driver's seat and drove it up over the hill.
Try to get it out because I didn't want to get stuck.
Okay, so then you're in the back. Did you throw anything outside the car when you were digging around for stuff?
No. I didn't throw anything out. I was just moving things around and stuff.
Okay.
I moved my paintings to the front seat.
Okay. Like so you moved your paintings to the front seat. And where was Alex during this time?
He was behind me outside.
Okay. And did he still have the knife? Okay. And then maybe this was like you asked, but how did the first contact take place? The first time he came, how were you positioned?
I was facing forward in the car, but then I heard him coming near me, so I turned around and then I was laying down.
Did he say anything to you?
No.
He just came at you with a knife?
Yeah.
Okay. And his first cut was where?
This is when it started at me, but the first cuts were here.
Okay. And then, so you're laying in the car with your head by the passenger side door? So you're laying on your back and he's doing this?
Yes, on my back.
So you're laying on your back with your head towards the passenger side door. And he's now cutting you in different spots, right? If I'm not mistaken. So then walk me through then. So you get a hold of the knife.
After it cuts my hand.
Yeah. So, and then you get it from him. Is he still on top of you at this point? Okay. And then what? Walk me through then what happens.
I just started stabbing anything I could.
Okay.
Everywhere.
Okay.
How did you end up on your back?
I rolled over to see what he was doing.
So that was prior to him grabbing onto you? Oh, okay. Okay.
So then he stabs. So then you get the knife away from him and you're kicking him. Where's the first place you think you stabbed him?
I think the first place I stabbed him was in the head.
Okay. Okay, and then walk me through the order you think you stabbed him.
I think I stabbed him in the head, and then he just kept grabbing me.
Okay.
So I think I stabbed him in like this leg by the genital region, and then the stomach and the sides and stuff like that. Because I remember being pushed against, because I was moving in the back seat, and I remember being pushed against the middle console and just going. And then I remember stabbing in this region, inside the chest and neck region, and then...
Was that outside the car?
That was inside the car. And then I fell, because my shoes fell off, because I was kicking and everything, and he got out of the car. And then he went to grab me again, and I stabbed him in like the side by the ribs and stuff. And then it's like after that, I just couldn't breathe, and I just started breathing. And then it just got really dark and scary. And I woke up and I peed my pants and everything. I didn't know what was going on, and he was just laying there, so I started running.
Okay. And at no time, did you try to move the body at all? Did you try to move it from, did you drive the body out there to dump it? Did this take place someplace else?
No.
And you're just now, how come you didn't tell me this yesterday when we talked, Ezra?
Because I didn't, it's too scary.
I know it's scary, but we needed the truth, right? See, it's better to come and tell us the truth so we know what happened.
Because it's just so scary and I can't get it out of my head.
And we're sorry that you went through this.
And it just keeps replaying. I wish it would go away.
Have you talked to any of the doctors about this? What happened?
No.
Okay, well, that's probably going to be a good place to talk.
There were some Racy's employees, and his grandmother
when you were
and mother
stabbing him,
testified,
Were you
Amelia,
trying to kill him?
very early on in this. Like one of the first
Okay.
two
Go
witnesses
away.
were his mom and grandmother.
What happened to the knife afterwards?
I think I dropped it when I was running.
When you say dropped it, where do you think you dropped it?
In the grass.
Like, okay. So, you know how it's a big mud, you drove up there, like in the grass along the mud trail,
I think so.
or like along the highway?
I think along the highway when I was running, because I remember falling down a few times because my legs were really weak.
Okay. Did you throw it like into the field, like a long ways away?
No, I think it just dropped.
Okay, so someplace between the car and Don's house, you dropped the knife. Okay.
What's weird
I just
is
wanted to go away.
there's a lot of
When you were
things
going up the road,
that are weird, but
You're
hold on,
outside
I'm
the
going to
road,
pause
yeah.
for this one.
The left side of the road.
So what's missing in all of this is how did it go from them having a conversation, right, to all of a sudden she's being attacked? Do you know what I mean? Like that is missing, you know, and it's all, what also is missing is the conversation. She's not able to relate anything that they talked about, not one single thing with any detail. It doesn't make sense. Sarah Connor.
so you would have been walking or running against traffic. Okay.
And that's when you were going to Don's house with the knife. Was the knife in your right hand or left hand, do you think, at that point?
I think it was in my left hand.
Okay, and so you're going up there, and as you're going, you just drop it in that ditch line. Okay.
What led you guys out there in the first place?
Just to find somewhere to talk. That's all I wanted. I just wanted to talk.
So was it this just a random place that had either one of you ever been there before?
Were you giving him directions as he was driving, or was he just kind of
just kind of going wherever we go.
Okay. But everything happened there, and most of it took place outside the car. Okay. And you don't know how he got back in the car?
No,
Where's his cell phone at?
I don't know, because I think I grabbed it with my phone when I was running,
Okay.
and I fell a couple times. So I know that my phone broke, but I don't know because if his phone broke or not.
Why'd you grab his cell phone?
Because I needed to bring it to somebody
Why?
so that I could call.
So you took his cell phone to call, but you don't know where it is? So did you throw that in the ditch too with a knife?
I think I dropped it with my phone.
But I think you guys got her phone, right?
Yeah, 'cause you just had an iPod, correct?
So
It might be in the ditch. 'Cause I don't know if I dropped it in Don's yard or anything.
did you rummage through his wallet at all?
No. My wallet's in the car and I know that all my money's in it. It's like a brown one.
Okay. Is there anything else we need to know, Ezra?
Oh, I can't think of anything right now.
Okay. So I know you said you had some photos, or some injuries. We do have a female deputy here. Would it be okay if she took some of the pictures of your photos? I know you have some in your private area, and they have a special room where they can take you and that she can just get some good photos, so we have that. Okay?
It's a girl though, right?
Yes. Yes, it is. So, one of the questions I have is, after this incident, did you do anything to yourself? Did you harm yourself in any way?
No, I didn't want to.
You said, well, what happened?
I didn't harm myself.
You didn't?
No, when I fell, I hurt my hand and I bit my tongue.
Okay. And then the boy carved in your arm. Okay. The part that throws me off on that is if I'm sitting here and he's going to be carving it in, it's written perfect with a right-hand person like this.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. If he would have write it in, it would have been reversed, right?
Mm-hmm.
How did boy get put in your arm? He didn't do that to you, did he? You carved boy into your own arm. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. When did that happen?
That happened when I was in the car.
In the car with him? Or one? When
I was in the car after I woke up the second time.
So after you stabbed him and you came back into it, as you put it, because you blacked out, that's when you carved this in? Okay. How about the cuts to your legs? When did those happen?
Those happened before I stabbed.
And who did those?
He did those.
Okay.
He hurt really bad.
So he cut you here,
And here.
and he cut you on the leg, you're saying, but the boy was done by you? Why?
Because I felt really bad. Because I didn't want it to happen, and I felt really bad.
You didn't want what to happen?
But
Ezra?
I didn't want any of it to happen.
Okay.
So I wrote it so that I have to remember what happened and feel bad about it.
What didn't you want to happen, Ezra?
I didn't want the attack to happen. I didn't want him to get hurt. And I feel really bad about what happened. I just did it so that I don't ever have, so that I don't forget.
Did you cut yourself anyplace else afterwards?
No.
I need to know, Ezra, if you did. Okay? I need to know the truth on all of this.
No.
Okay. What else happened that you told me a different story to, Ezra?
I didn't cut myself here at all.
Okay.
And when I fell, I scraped my hand. And then I covered this on my arm so I wouldn't forget. And this happened when I was grabbing it. And this happened when I was grabbing it too.
Okay. And what you're saying when you're grabbing it, it's when he had the knife.
But I did this because I wanted to not forget what happened.
Was it any time during your guys' conversation there talk about sex today, or sex that day? About him wanting to have sex with you or you wanting to have sex with him?
No. I didn't want to have sex at all.
Did he?
I don't think so.
Why did he have the knife and why to cut your pants?
I think he just wanted to look at me.
Is that what he said? Or what? You said you think.
I don't know. It's been a really long time since I've seen him.
Okay.
And I don't know what he wanted. He was acting so strange and nonchalant, and he kept talking about things that didn't make sense. And it was just so scary. Everything was just so scary. I don't know what to do about it. It's just so scary. I can't get anything out of my mind.
Mm-hmm. But everything you're telling us is the truth, Ezra? How it happened?
Yes.
There's no other stories you're going to change or anything else you're changing? So, part of the issue is the way he was cut, there wasn't a lot of blood found there. And he was soaking wet. How did he get wet?
I think the ground was wet.
Did he fall on the ground at some point?
When I left the car, he was on the ground.
Okay, was he alive at that point? Do you know?
I couldn't tell.
Okay, did he have anything around his neck? How far away from the car was he?
Not that far. It was I think there was a green thing. Like a dumpster, like a truck or something. It was green, and that's where he was by.
Okay. And then, you don't know how he got back in the car?
No,
Where was your scarf?
my scarf was in the car. The yellow and the blue and the red scarf was in the car.
Okay.
I think it was on the ground of the car.
Did you put that on him? Did you try to move him at all?
No, I didn't want to touch him.
Would you be willing to let this female officer take these photos? You good with that right now? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that'd be fine.
What we'll do is we'll have you walk out there with us, and we will have her come and go into the office, wherever that's going to be, and then you can have the photos taken. And then after that, if we have any more questions, is it okay if we come talk to you again?
I don't know.
What do you mean?
I think so. Because I don't know if I have anything I have to do here.
Oh, okay. As far as like groups or sessions, I'm sure they're going to work with you. Okay. And they're good people up here. Does that sound good to you?
Works for me.
All right. Well, let's go out there and we'll see if we can find Carlene is the gal that we're going to get you into a room. As the director, she's got a private room for you. Okay.
Okay, let me stop it here, Your Honor. It's, there's nothing else on the interview itself.
All right, and that's at 1:24:20
Correct.
and a half. Okay.
Detective Prock, I just have a couple questions. At one point in the interview, you asked her which hand the knife was in when she was holding it and using it. And she makes a gesture of some kind, which obviously we can't see. Do you remember which hand she said she was using the knife with?
Yes, I do. She was using her right hand. Besides this, I took notes so I can make sure I write my report accurately. And when she indicated the right hand, I had wrote down the right hand into the notes.
And at one point in the interview, you asked her, when or where the first cuts were on her, and she makes some type of a gesture. It sounds like as well from the interview. Where is she indicating her first cuts were?
If I remember correctly, she was indicating her right leg on the outside.
Okay, the thigh area.
The thigh area, yes.
Detective, do you see the individual who you interviewed on March 23rd and March 24th in court here today?
Yes, I do.
And could you point her up at where she is seated and what she is wearing?
She's wearing a pink colored jacket with a floral colored dress, sitting at the defense table.
Right, the record will reflect that the witness has identified Ms. McCandless, the defendant.
Yeah. Thank you, Your Honor. And then the last thing I wanted to ask you, obviously it's not in your jurisdiction generally, but are you familiar with the township, the county, and the state where the body of Alex Woodworth was found on March 23rd, 2018?
Yes, I am.
And can you tell us where that is?
I believe it's the Springbrook Township in Dunn County in the state of Wisconsin.
Thank you. I don't have any further questions for Detective Prock.
All right, Mr. Nelson, do you want to begin cross-examination at this point? There were,
Sure, I'm going right into March 1st.
so
Wow. I mean, there was so much in that interview. Like, now I need to know what happened with the yellow cup. And here's my other question that I have, which I'm sure will be answered once the forensicing portion of the trial, once I get that together. But this is where I think Ezra may have sealed her fate. Because if she stabbed Alex, right, and then all of the injuries occurred after the fact, okay, then obviously on the knife there would be a mixture of both of their DNA and both of their blood. However, if she stabbed him and didn't wipe the knife at all and then cut herself, I'm curious if there will be DNA from Alex inside of the wounds that she sustained. That's what I'm curious about. And vice versa. So if she's telling the truth and it happened exactly the way that she says it happened, right? Then wouldn't her DNA be found around his wounds? Because it was one knife used to stab to make injuries on two different people? I wonder about that. We do have a lot of fun here, you guys. Sorry, I just had to get that thought out of my brain and out of my mouth, because I'm really, if I don't say it, I'll forget it. And I want to remember it so that when the forensicing happens, I'll remember, and I'll remember that I was wondering about that and maybe get an answer. Plus, it gives me something to listen for when I'm going through it for you guys to put stuff together so we could. Okay. Could we determine which injuries came first? Are you asking about like so the medical examiner during her testimony, she said it was a her, wasn't it? I don't remember now. I don't remember if it because now I know that Todd Mullis's was the medical examiner was a female. So we'll just leave this part alone. Oh, hey, guess what? If you don't actually plug the charger into your computer, like you're just sitting there with it not plugged in, it won't charge. Did you guys know that? I just found out. Okay, yes. See, you could. This is what I was thinking about. Because if it happened the way that she says it happened, then the knife would have been used on her first. Then she would have taken the knife from him and then she would have stabbed him. So inside of his wounds, I'm wondering if some of her DNA would have been mixed in, or even in the blood that runs out of the wound, right? If there would have been a mixture. So I think if you could, then that would be an excellent way to tell what happened first, because according to Ezra, all the stabbing occurred to Alex as a result of her defending herself, that he had already cut her and attacked her in the groin area. So if it happened the way the state is alleging, then inside of those wounds, or near where the wound occurred on Ezra, there would have been, if she didn't wipe the knife, then there would have been a mixture of their DNA. Does that make sense? Okay, I'm going to get right on that. We need to know the absolute whereabouts of this yellow cup. We really would, Molson man. We really would. We really would. I'm curious about that. I'm curious how that works. But now, now I'm thinking about the wounds on him and in what order they most likely occurred, because we can't be trusting Ezra's account. And, excuse me. I didn't mean like inside the wound. Like, well, I mean, I would imagine though, if you think about it, I guess they really wouldn't swab the inside. Or maybe they would in this case, since one knife was used on two people to inflict injuries. And it's a question. I don't know. I don't know what they would do. I'm curious about that. I mean, I know that they definitely would do the knife, right? They would definitely try to figure out if it was a mixture and whatnot. But now that I think about it, if I were Ezra and I had cooked up this plot, right? Wouldn't it make sense, being that, I mean, Ezra is not that big of a girl. I mean, she really isn't. I don't know what her strength is, but she's not that big of a girl. So if you were going to unalive somebody that was bigger and stronger than you, wouldn't you go for the most lethal way to stop them first. The quickest, I should say, not lethal, but the quickest way to stop them first, which makes sense. Not the head so much as the neck. I think that I'm very curious about that. And the other thing I'm curious about is, well, I remember they testified, Allie, that the medical examiner testified that you can't, I believe it was, yes, it was a female, that, excuse me, she couldn't say with any degree of medical certainty which order exactly the stab wounds came, but that she could tell due to what they looked like and all this, that, and the other, what part of the process, i.e. the death process, Alex was in. Like how quickly they occurred. Does that make sense? Like she can't say that this is 1, 2, 3, 4. They happened in this specific order. But obviously you can tell when something occurred post-mortem, sort of in the middle. So I think that it would make sense. Exactly, Vincent's missing ear. But I think that it would make sense if you were trying to unalive another human being, particularly if that human being was bigger than you and stronger than you. Wouldn't you go for, I think that the neck wound probably happened first. And then I think everything after that, up until the groin area, was frenzied and quick. And the groin area, I believe, was done as a final FU, frankly. That's what I think it was. They did, Amelia. He did have defensive wounds. And see, that's the other thing that I found to be interesting, is that the cut that Ezra keeps pointing out to the cops, or to the detectives, I should say, is actually not a deep cut either. It didn't require any superficial, didn't require any stitches. Sutures is what I was trying to say. Stitches. So when you are trying to, if you think about this, somebody is coming towards you. Their arm is, right? The knife would be coming towards you with force, but you stop it with your hand to grab it. You're going to get a significant cut. I remember Nicholas Godejohn, and he was talking about how during what he did, he cut his hand, or he cut his finger. And by the time they caught up with him and Gypsy and had them down at the police station, right? And the other one they lived in Wisconsin, but this happened in Missouri. But anyway, by the time everybody arrived from Missouri to Wisconsin, it had been a few days. And the detective looked at that wound on Nick's finger and said that he probably should have had stitches. So I feel like you're going to get a more significant wound. It's not going to be something that could be described as a scrape or a scratch. So now I'm curious. And this is, these are all just the musings that go along in my head. I just think about these kind of things as I'm hearing the testimony. Plus, I find it interesting that she did reference Jason more than once in this interview, obviously. I mean, it's not like she volunteered and just started talking about him. To be fair, she was asked questions. But what I don't understand is the whole I don't know. There's something missing there. Now, I don't think that he had any part in this at all, but I think there is something missing in the conversation between she and Jason that neither one of them are telling for whatever reason. Maybe they don't for Jason, it's very possible that he doesn't remember. But for Ezra, I would think that she's intentionally withholding, because she made it sound like the conversation she had with Jason at Racy's was just swell, right? But then when Jason testified, particularly about being in Alex's house, and I believe he was even in Alex's room. I'm pretty sure that's what he testified to, that well, when she was trying to talk about the wounds and stuff like that, that's when it reminded me the most of her. But anyway, when Jason testified, I got the sense from his testimony that he was a third wheel and almost in the way. And it wasn't just the vibe coming off of Ezra, because that would make sense. I mean, if you're plotting to unalive and this third party shows up, you got to get rid of them, meaning you have to get them to go away. So it almost sounded like both Ezra and Alex were annoyed that Jason was there, almost like he wanted to be part of this mediation. Or the mediator, I suppose, not really mediation, but mediator, right? Like he needed to be involved. But I still feel that something occurred at Racy's. And the reason I say that is because why a look is not enough to get me to bike all over Hell's Half Acre. And it's not like it was a night. I mean, yeah, it's March, but it was cold. There was snow on the ground, for Pete's sake. It was cold. There's no way I would bike all over Hell's Half Acre over to Alex's house based on a look. Oh, thank you, Heather, whatever. That's so sweet of you. I appreciate that. It just, something was said at Racy's. And I believe that what was likely said at Racy's, because remember, Ezra didn't show up at Racy's alone. She showed up with Max, another guy. And I think that Jason said something snarky to her. Something like, maybe this is why your number's on the bathroom wall in the men's room at Racy's. He said something snarky to her. Something that caused her to look at him in such a way that he recognized she was livid. And I don't actually think, because listen, if you're livid, right? Let's play this out. You are at Racy's with a friend, and your ex is at Racy's, and there are words exchanged. Okay. And you say, the ex says something really snarky to you, and you give your ex a look. That's not how many people think that their ex would follow them to their next destination. That doesn't there's something that's missing out on that. Because if she gave such a look with fire in her eyes, as Jason so, eloquently put it, right? Of course she's going to be mad. He said something to her, and I believe that he did. But I don't understand why that rose to the level of him following her on the bike. That's crazy. It doesn't make any sense. Now, is it possible, and I do, this is a possibility, it is possible that up until Jason said whatever it was that he said that caused Ezra to have a fire in her eyes, like she's the mother of dragons or some such. Anywho, she hadn't fully decided or resigned, completely 100% decided what she was going to do, that she was actually going to carry out this plan. You know what I mean? And perhaps that is the look that Jason saw. And that's why he became concerned. And he did try and, I mean, in his way, it's not that he called the 911s. He followed them. He showed up at Alex's house, and Ezra's car was in the driveway running, which is weird. I agree with that. And then the neighbors called the cops because he reached in and turned the ignition off. But why would he follow her out there? And then when the cops do show up, he repeats that same story, which I understand why the cops didn't take it completely seriously, because I heard what he described. And no, babe, we have not. Mo, let me highlight that so people know. No, we haven't got there yet. Something happened at Racy's. Something happened. And it could be something, maybe, I mean, are they audio or just video, Mo? Well, I know they're in the stuff that Mo has already uploaded, so I'll find them, and we will after we do part 4, because tomorrow is cross, and you know how Mr. Nelson likes to, drag out a question for thank you, Amy McCraney. Good to see you, babe. You know how Mr. Nelson likes to drag out a question for 7 years, and then on top of it, he'll ask 37 questions and then go back to the original question and harp on it some more. So you don't have to, Mo. You've been really busy, babe. I definitely will. I'll look for it. Oh, you give that sweet baby a kiss and a hug from me. Soon she won't want to have anything to do with you, and you'll miss the days when she bugged you and wouldn't let you, not bugged you, but wanted your undivided attention and wouldn't let you watch YouTube live. But thank you so much. I always appreciate you guys sending me the super stickers and the super chats. It's very, very sweet, and I appreciate it always. I just am awkward. So I feel like obviously we're not going to get the truth of what happened out of Ezra. But I'm curious why I think the prosecutor might have just been annoyed with Jason and was just like, I don't even care what this kid has to say, or this guy has to say. We're done. I don't want to talk to, I don't mind asking him any more questions. And I am curious. I don't know. We are definitely missing a key element to the story, which obviously would be motive. And, obviously the state's not required to prove that, but I'm just, for my own curiosity, I want to know. It's quite interesting. I'm curious about that. The fact that I'm just still like, I can't get over or understand or get my brain around a look being enough to ride around town on your low rider bicycle, just kidding, on your bike based on a look. And I have to go back to the exchange, the text exchange that Jason read when he was testifying. And it didn't seem to me through that text exchange that Jason was trying to like I don't know the way to say it. It almost seemed like he was egging her on. He was encouraging her. And I'm wondering, I guess I don't know, just some of this stuff does not make there's parts of this that do not make sense. And I can't quite get my brain wrapped around it. But we are definitely, yeah, it did exactly Max. It is like he was instigating, and yes, you know, and I have to go back to, again, why did he show up? And then it was awkward. Even after turning the vehicle off, the cops show up. And at that point, he wasn't, when if I'm remembering correctly, because from the body cam footage, it's not like they pulled up and he was riding his bike away from Alex's house. He was standing there. And I mean, he was not, I don't think, right on top of the house or whatever, but he was close enough because they were headed to that house. And he waited around, and then he lingered even after even after Ezra and Alex took off, he lingered. And I have to wonder about this, is that what the her defense attorney said to Jason the last, at the end of his testimony, that the cops have been called. This is the second time in a month. What did he get called on for the first time? They weren't going to allow it in, but it's just interesting. Yes, Vincent's missing ear. That's exactly what he was doing. Exactly what he was doing. And the other element that doesn't make sense, which obviously Jason heard this from Ezra, so it's clearly a lie, but right, he lingered to try to keep the peace. What peace? First of all, Alex and Ezra were not alone in that home together. The roommate was there. So what peace is it that Medic Roger, screenshot taker, timeline maker, there was a witness there. It's just weird. That whole something said, I don't think it, like, what I'm saying is, I believe Ezra thought about this for a minute before she actually went through with setting the plan in motion. Meaning, how is it that, why did they need to go and talk in nature? correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't everything outside of your home technically in nature? Why did they have to go to such an isolated place? You know what I mean? So what I'm thinking is that whatever took place at Racy's, or it was a combination. Well, no, because well, no, maybe it could. Maybe it was a combination of that whole interaction with Jason on that day, from Racy's all the way over to, Alex's home. Um, he is like the excellent reference, perfect analogy. He is the little finger. He was of Racy's. He was putting people around. Thank you, Momo. I'll after the lead detective tomorrow, I'll make sure and include that. Thanks, babe. I appreciate it. He was putting these people, moving them around, playing them against each other on many levels. So I'm curious though. So now I want to see, but I want to hear the cross examination, because I suspect it's going to be more of the same. Do you have any special training dealing with victims of crime, post-traumatic stress disorder, yada, 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 yada? Although I suspect that the detective is going to have some more better answers, some better answers for him, because he is a detective. So you're right, Max. 2002, you're absolutely right. Hey, recliner detective. Yeah, that's allowed. It's allowed. She couldn't, well, I don't know. Wisconsin might have that law. Some states don't have a Son of Sam law, like Missouri doesn't. But technically, her selling her art doesn't actually apply to the Son of Sam law, because Manson did art and sold it. Gacy, same thing. I think it has to be making money off of the crime itself, like your life story or whatever, like the rights to your life story. I think that, like, life rights, Jen, life rights. That's how you say it. So yeah, that's what I think. Yeah, she would be allowed to. Well, it's kind of all I got for tonight. I have to get to bed too. I got an early day tomorrow. So let's call it a night. I want to thank everybody for being here. Thank you to the mods. Thank you, chat hairs. Thank you for the super chats. Thank you for the great conversation. Y'all were cracking me up in the comments. And I will see you all tomorrow night at the same time, 9 Eastern. And we're going to figure out, let's hear what the defense likes to ask. Good night, you guys. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Okay, bye. Y'all behave on these YouTube streets as best you can, or else don't get caught if you can't behave. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Have a good Tuesday, and I'll see you tomorrow night. Okay, bye. For reals, bye.